You're scrolling through your feed, and there it is. Another influencer swearing by a new multivitamin that's going to change your life. It's a lot. The world of supplements is just packed with conflicting advice, right? Well, today we're going to cut right through all that noise. We're going to figure out what the science actually says, what your body is desperately trying to tell you, and how you can make choices that actually help you, not harm you.
And really, it all boils down to this, doesn't it? You see that slick ad, and it's so tempting to just hit buy now. But are you making a decision based on clever marketing or on actual medical science? In this explainer, we're going to build a bridge between those two worlds so you can finally make a choice you feel confident about.
So let's start with piece number 1 of this whole puzzle. Before we can even talk about what supplements to take, we really need to get a handle on what vitamins are and the huge roles they play inside our bodies.
Okay, so our bodies basically run on two kinds of fuel. You've got your macronutrients, that's the big stuff like carbs, proteins, and fats. But then you have these micronutrients. And yeah, they might be micro by name, but their job is absolutely massive. We're talking about thousands of critical functions, from how you make energy to how you fight off a cold. They depend completely on these little guys.
Now this slide right here is our first major practical takeaway. Vitamins basically fall into two camps. You've got your fat-soluble ones, A, D, E, and K. These guys need fat to get absorbed, which means you have to take them with a meal. Then you have the water-soluble crew, like vitamin C and all the B vitamins. They, you guessed it, dissolve in water, so they work best on an empty stomach. Just making this one simple change can make a gigantic difference in whether you're actually getting the good stuff from your supplements.
All right, let's keep building on this, because the connection between these tiny little nutrients and our mental health is incredibly powerful, and it's something most of us just completely overlook.
You ever have one of those nights? You know the one. You're lying in bed, you are physically exhausted, but your brain just will not shut up. It feels like this flood of racing thoughts that you just can't turn off. It's a classic sign of anxiety, but the root cause? Well, that might really surprise you.
Yep, that feeling of not being able to quiet your mind at night is very often linked to a simple deficiency in vitamin B1. It's just a perfect example of how a tiny nutritional gap can have a massive impact on your mental well-being.
And it goes even deeper than that. So many of us struggle with just persistent low moods or even clinical depression. And look, while there are a ton of factors involved, we can't ignore the purely biochemical side of things. Your brain needs specific raw materials to run correctly.
As you can see here, there are some major players when it comes to our mental health. Deficiencies in vitamin D, magnesium, and zinc, they're all well-researched contributors to depression. And a severe lack of vitamin B12 can take it even further. We're talking not just depression, but in really extreme cases, it can cause hallucinations. It's serious stuff.
So here's the key takeaway. Our bodies are talking to us constantly. Long before a big problem ever shows up on a lab test, your body is sending out these little subtle signals that something is off balance. We just have to learn how to actually listen. I absolutely love this quote from Dr. Sahar Challa because it just nails the body's incredible wisdom. Your body is programmed for one thing above all else: survival. So when resources get scarce, it's going to sacrifice the non-essentials, like how strong your hair and nails are, to protect the really important stuff, like your heart and your brain.
So what do these warning signs look like? Well, honestly, they're usually things we just brush off as part of life. Hair falling out in the shower, nails that break all the time, dry skin, feeling irritable, not sleeping well, getting leg cramps at night. These are not just random annoyances, people. They are your body's check engine light flashing at you. Okay, so we've got the what and we've got the why. Now let's get down to brass tacks and talk about the how. How do we pick and use supplements to get the best possible effect, without just throwing things at the wall and hoping they stick?
Now this might sound a little controversial, but it is a super important point from our source. The whole argument here is that for someone with a real deficiency, those tiny amounts you get in a one-a-day multivitamin, they're often not nearly enough to make a real difference. Instead of a little bit of everything, you probably need a higher, targeted dose of one specific thing to actually fix the problem.
All right, you're going to want to screenshot this slide. This is your ultimate cheat sheet. But notice the details. It's not just what to take, it's what form and when. Magnesium glycinate, for example, is fantastic for relaxation, so you take it before bed. Zinc, B-complex, and vitamin C, they're best on an empty stomach. And all your fat-soluble vitamins, A, D, E, and K, have to be taken with a meal.
This is how you supplement smart.
Okay, to wrap things up, we have to talk about safety. Because more is not always better, and taking supplements without the right know-how can be useless at best and actually harmful at worst.
So before you take a single thing, I want you to run through this mental checklist. First, know your why. What specific symptom are you trying to fix? Second, you got to understand that standard tests don't always tell the whole story. Like a blood test for magnesium only shows about 1% of your body's total supply. Third, and this is the most important one, talk to a professional. And finally, always check for interactions with other medications you're taking.
This is such a critical final point. The form of the supplement you take matters. A perfect example is calcium. Taking calcium carbonate, it's common, it's cheaper, can actually contribute to kidney stones for some people. But calcium citrate is way more easily absorbed, making it both safer and more effective. It's a tiny detail that makes all the difference in the world.
Because at the end of the day, that's the real goal here. It's to move beyond the Instagram trends and the fancy marketing and to arm yourself with the right questions and the right knowledge so you can finally work with your doctor to understand what your unique body actually needs to feel amazing.